kind of similar like the Philippines. Sometimes you have to distinguish between what Trump says and what his administration does. And as you correctly pointed out, it's essentially a continuation of the policy of the Obama administration. If you're looking at what the Pentagon is doing, but our expectation is, and the indications are there, that under the Trump administration, they're going to up the ante. So in the past, they used to send, mid-sized warships to challenge China's excessive claims in the Spratlys and Paracel chain of islands. This is what they call freedom of navigation operations. So the Chinese turn a rock into an island, and then, of course, in international law, if you have an island, you can claim exclusive economic zone, right? What the Americans are doing, they let warships pass through within the, 200 nautical miles and sometimes even 12 nautical miles of these islands and land features, because they're saying, yeah, a fake island cannot generate maritime entitlement claims per international law. So they're challenging that now with even greater vigor. They're sending U.S. aircraft carriers to the area. So I think under the Trump administration, there's going to be more aggressive, more sustained pressure and counter push against the Chinese. And this is generally a good thing for us, especially now that we see, we're doing everything in our power to gain the goodwill of our Chinese friend. And yet, first of all, we have not got any concession. What is the concession we got in the South China Sea? That maybe our fishermen can access a little bit of the peripheral areas, the 12 nautical miles territorial sea of the Scarborough Shoal. Still, our fishermen cannot enter the lagoon in Scarborough Shoal. So my point is that we're doing so much to gain the goodwill of our Chinese friends, yet we don't see any concrete effort on their part to reciprocate.
You can argue that they are investing in infrastructure here. President Duterte did say there's some billion-dollar commitment, multi-billion-dollar commitment from the Chinese government to invest here. So perhaps, maybe I'm just saying if that diplomatic, economic kind of give, because, I'm just, again, posing that as a situation. But, let's talk about the U.S. again. So you were saying the escalating tensions because of the assertiveness of the U.S. now, including the delivery of the anti-missile defense system in South Korea.
That system.
So again, that's something that China is not happy about. So does that increase the kind of tensions, not just here in the South China Sea, but the East, East Asia area?
Well, first of all, clearly there is an element of checkbook diplomacy here, right?
Yes.
I'm going to invest in your country, so maybe we can be a little bit quiet on territorial issue. Well, the two should be separated, right? It's not like the Chinese are not going to benefit from investing in the Philippines. They have so much overcapacity back home. They need new infrastructure projects because most likely they're going to bring their own workers, their own technology, their own engineers. So they're going to gain from investing in the Philippines. This is not charity. The second thing is, of course, with the United States, you have now an administration here which is sending a very clear signal that it's not going to be business as usual. Because with the Trump administration, you always had people like former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, who always wanted to emphasize that the U.S.-China relations is the most important bilateral relationship of the 21st century. Now in the White House, you have people like Steve Bannon who are saying China is the greatest enemy of the United States along the Islamic world.